And essentially the method that we're going to use to find jobs on Upwork without connects is very simple. I'm going to show you what it looks like. As you can see at the top of the screen here, there is the search bar, and the search bar has a drop-down menu. And if you click on this drop-down menu here, you'll see there's the option to search for jobs, talents, and projects. Talent is basically if you want to find other freelancers, but what we want is to find projects. So projects are a method of finding work that works exactly the opposite of how jobs work. Projects, instead of the client creating a job posting, the freelancer says, hey, I want this job. I can do this for you, and clients can browse through these projects and be like, hey, okay, this freelancer is offering this. I'd like to hire them so they can do this project for me. It's basically the opposite. Instead of the client creating the job, the freelancer creates a job, and the clients can browse to see if there's a freelancer offering the type of project they're looking for. So let me show you what a project can look like on Upwork. I'm going to show you, for example, let's look for web design. So we're searching for projects with the search term web design, and it's going to show us a lot of different projects, which are basically sales pages built by freelancers so that clients can browse through that and determine whether or not they want to hire you. So you can see here, this is the example of what this can look like. The reason we want to build pages like this is that if clients decide to hire us through projects, we don't have to use connects. Connects are only a currency that we use to apply to jobs, but if we just build sales pages and clients come to us, we don't need to pay connects when they hire us. Like, this is completely free method. You can use this without connects. So the way we're going to build a project is that you go to this page that we opened earlier by opening the drop-down menu at the top of the navigation bar and clicking on My Project Dashboard. And you see at the bottom left of this Hero section, there's this green button that we can click that says Create a Project. And here it takes us to this step-by-step process that we have to go through to create a job. So start with, you need to create a catchy title. Let's say I'm going to be a logo designer to make something very simple that everyone can understand. So you will get is not something I can change. So all I can say is what the client is going to get. So what I am going to write is, let's say you will get a professional minimalist logo. That's a pretty simple thing. If you're not sure what to write and you're not sure like how to make a title that clients are going to want to click on, the best thing you can do is just to use search to find projects that are succeeding right now. And what you want to do is look at many of the projects that come up and that have a lot of good reviews. For example, if we look at logo, we're going to want to find some logos. And if you look at maybe 20 different or 30, 40 different projects that are incredibly successful, you're going to see some patterns in the way that they write their titles. For example, a lot of these seem to write logo many times, probably because it helps appear high in search results. And there's other patterns that you can find. And I encourage you, if you're using a method like this of building sales pages on a marketplace, that you take your time to analyze what other people are doing, not the people who are moderately successful, but the people who are failing miserably and the people who are succeeding wildly. And this is going to show you patterns of what works and what doesn't work. For example, in this space, we can see most people are writing logo multiple times in their titles, and it's not just for titles, it's for all the rest of the projects. We can look at every single part of every project to figure out what's working, what's not working right now. And if we follow the best practices and the patterns that we're seeing on people who are successful, and we avoid doing the things that the people who are unsuccessful are doing, this can allow us to have projects that are more successful, that get more views, that get more clicks, that get more people to buy these projects from us than people who try to build projects from scratch by trying to guess at what works and what doesn't work and just trying to do their best without doing market research and general research. Category, Upwork's going to offer us some categories. What I recommend is that you try to find the categories that the most successful people are using and try to use that. I'm going to assume that logo design might be good, but if I was doing this for myself, I would try to find it out by doing a lot of research. So project attribute, minimalist, let's say 3D. Industry, let's say we are in art and design and we're building logos for maybe tech and IT. Maybe I could try to do something specific for tech and IT. I recommend if you want to do something specific, like try to figure out what's the market and if it's in demand and how much they pay, and try to figure out what is most in demand, what is not offered much, and also what are the things that you can do that you want to do that pay the most money. So do your research on how people get paid on average for these sorts of projects. File format, let's say we do all of them. We don't really care. We can do that. We're professional logo designers. So search tags, I assume that if you really don't know what to write, you can just use ChatGPT for these sort of things. Let's just skip it for now. Price and scope. Okay, so one of the things that really is important for you to understand is that you always want to use 3-tier pricing. What you want to do essentially when you're doing 3-tier pricing is that you want to have one tier that's your starter, that's basically what you would charge normally, but what you do is that you remove some parts of the package that are really important for some clients, for many clients. And what you do is that your standard package is actually way more expensive than what people normally would pay for your service, but this is actually the service that gives everything people need. And the advanced package, what you do is you make it so expensive that it's ridiculous, that no one would buy it, but it gives extra things that no one really cares about. So what happens is people are like, oh, well, I don't really want the most expensive one. It's really not worth it for me. And the starter is not really worth it for me. And so I guess I'm going to get the standard. And they don't notice that the price is really ridiculous because the price of the advanced is so high that in comparison, the price of the standard feels normal. So you're basically leveraging human psychology to make them feel like the normal, which is already overpriced, actually isn't overpriced and is actually normally priced. And you're making sure people don't buy the one that is normally priced. And the reason they're not going to buy is that you remove important features. There's probably many videos on YouTube that you can look at for pricing strategy, but I think if you just follow what I just said, it's going to give you the gist of it. And if you start analyzing what people are offering at each tier when you're analyzing other people's projects, you can figure out how to build your own by following these best practices. And with this understanding, you're going to be able to analyze that and figure out what they're doing and understand why it works and why it doesn't. So essentially, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do one tier, so it's going to be easy and faster for us to do. So we're not going to do a custom title for this. We're going to have delivery days. Let's say we're going to build this logo in 4 days with, let's say, 3 revisions. Revisions are basically, if the client's not happy, they can ask you to change the project for free, make changes for free. So for adding a lot of revisions can make clients more likely to hire you and not be disappointed with the service you provide, because when they're telling you they're not happy with it, you're going to be changing it and it's not going to cost them money. But if you add too many revisions, what's going to happen is that many clients are going to take advantage of you. So you need to find the good middle ground. So number of initial concepts is basically, this is a design project. So basically what we do is that we show them a number of designs that they can choose which ones that we want to explore more and work on more. So let's say I'm going to offer them 4 designs of logo and they're going to choose which one they want me to work more on and build more variants of. So let's say 4. Service tier options. These are options you can add. I'm just going to go quickly. It's going to be different depending on what type of project that you're doing. And the cool thing is that Upwork already knows, based on what we've selected on the previous page, what kind of project we're doing. So we don't have to enter this manually and figure this out. They already figured that out. Project price, let's say we're going to do it for $100, let's say. Add-ons, basically people can pay more to get additional things. And this is a great way to increase your average customer purchase, so the average amount that customer pays, and overall your income overall. So I recommend you don't add too much. You should add 1 or 2. If you add too much, it becomes confusing, and clients tend to choose 0 instead of choosing 1 or 2. And if you choose 1 or 2, it increases the chance that clients choose 1 or 2. It's weird, but that's how people are. People are lazy. They don't want to look at everything one at a time, especially if you're doing cheap projects like logos. So let's just say I offer fast delivery, and so I can deliver it in 1 day for an extra $20, let's say. All right, so here we need to put images for the projects, and a lot of people don't really know how they're going to build that. And one of the things that people are confused is, if you're building something that's intangible, something that's not visual, it's going to be much more difficult to know what you can put on your projects. For example, if we look for, I don't know, Java, backend programming language, here you can see they're basically creating thumbnails. Obviously, like, people don't really know what to put on there, so it's just some graphic design with, and if you're wondering how to build these sort of things, what I recommend is that you figure out, again, find projects that are working, figure out what they're writing, what kind of visual style they're using. And what you want to do is to use a website. What I recommend is canva.com, C-A-N-V-A. It's basically Photoshop, but you don't need to be good at Photoshop to use it. It's basically something anyone can use. I use it to make my YouTube thumbnail, even though I had Photoshop courses. It's just that Photoshop takes a lot more time to use. And basically, here's, for example, a sneak peek at some of my YouTube thumbnails for upcoming videos. And what you can do is you build images, you choose, let's actually build an image with you so that you can know how to use Canva basically to build your thumbnails for your projects. Let's do create a design. There's a button at the top right of the screen here. So you click that, and then you need to choose your size of the project, create a design. Okay, so we're going to use a design. Let's say we're going to do, what size do we need this to be? It's square. All right, let's do some square. Are they all square? Yeah, they're all square. Okay, perfect. So we're going to use Instagram. I remember there was Instagram post somewhere that was a square that was perfectly sized for this. Wonder if we're going to find it. If we don't find it, who cares? Let's just do a custom size if it's still possible. Oh, Instagram post, square. Here, click on that. You're going to have a square canvas. And what I recommend doing is that if you're not really good at design, if you're not a graphic designer or anything, there are different templates that you can use. And here at the left, there's design. Here's a bunch of templates that you can use. You can just type, let's say, programming, and they're going to give you a lot of templates you can use that have a visual that feels like programming. And for example, this one right here, the blue and yellow one, resembles a lot, I believe, some things that we've seen in search results earlier. So this is a pro. You need to pay for it. I'm just going to use another one. I don't really care. So let's say I'm just going to use this design, which looks pretty good, and then I'm just going to remove the elements I don't care about. I'm just going to move text, maybe add a photo of me or something at the right. Let's say, do I have one that's transparent? I think if I look at the bottom, I'm going to find some old photos of me from 2020 that have transparency at the right around it. It's going to take time to see. Well, yeah, here's an old photo of me. Actually, that one was from last year, so maybe I could just put that here. Please try to have a more professional photo. This one is more like emotional, with an emotion of sadness, which maybe is not the best for a project. But here, as you can see, I can put it there. And the interesting thing about Canva that you need to know about is that at the top, there's position. Click on that, and you're going to see you can change in what order elements are. So if I want, I can put this orange thing on top of my face so I can work on it, move it, change its size. And then when I'm done, I can put it back behind me by putting it behind on this list at the left here. And if I want to add text, I can click on text here, add text, and I can change the text, and I can change the color of the text by clicking. And it works a lot like Word. If you start using it a bit, you're gonna figure out it's very simple and intuitive. You have the option to add elements like images by clicking on elements, and you write what you care about. Let's say I want to add a tree for some reason. I write tree here, and I get access to graphics, photos, videos, shapes. Let's just use, let's say, graphics. Some of them are premium, so you can either pay, I think, $2 for them or pay for their premium subscription, which is not really that expensive, but there's free ones. And, I can add a tree, let's say, behind me by changing the position. And let's say that I finished a beautiful, beautiful, professional-looking image. And let's say I want to download it. You just click share at the top right, and then you click download, and then you change it. You want to download it as an image. It's normally set to video. If you download it as a video, you're not going to be able to put it on Upwork, so you want to put it as an image. Let's say JPG, which is a format that most sites will accept. So here I just downloaded it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the project, and I'm going to browse for images, and I'm going to use it. So here, let's go. We have a image, and we can crop it so that we have a good thumbnail. Perfect. So there we go. That's how you create a project image. Then you can add also a video or documents that you can share. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to continue on with that. So then requirements for the clients, basically what you want the client to send you so you can do the project. For example, the logo, maybe I want the client to tell me what their business is about, what they're selling, so that I can know like what they're about, and also a link to their website and that sort of thing. You're going to write that there, and then the client's going to know what they need to send you so you can start working. So let's say add, and you can click continue once you've done that. And if you're not sure what to ask your clients, again, you can just look at what other successful projects are asking, and it's going to give you a good knowledge of what other freelancers are looking for and what you probably need. So project summary, you can use ChatGPT to give you a basic format to get started. What I recommend is that, it's one of the fastest things you can do. Ask ChatGPT to give you a basic outline. You change what doesn't work, what doesn't fit what you are actually offering, and then you ask ChatGPT to edit every sentence to make sure that they're professional, they are in the right tone, they don't have English errors and that sort of thing. And then you just look to make sure it did a good job, and let's just do it quickly. And it needs to be at least 120 characters. Let's just keep adding some nonsense till we have 120. There we go. We've got a bunch of nonsense. It's amazing. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, I need to add steps. If I cancel it, yeah, Oh, okay. So I need to add steps. All right, let's do it. So step 1, send me information, blah, 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 blah. Step 2, I create 4 basic mockups, and you choose one. And then, whatever you do, save and continue. All right. Maximal projects you can do at the same time. This is basically a safety feature to make sure that you don't get too many clients asking for projects and ending up not being able to deliver them all in time. So yeah, you can add a maximum number of projects. If you're just starting out, try to make it lower than you expect, because most humans, it's been demonstrated in books on cognitive biases, most humans believe that tasks take less time than they actually take. So if you try to estimate how much time it's going to take you and how many clients you can actually take, you're going to realize that your calculations are going to be wrong most of the time. So what I recommend is that you need to give you a good safety net. And I'd start with just writing about half as many projects as you think you're really realistically able to provide. And that's usually a good estimation of what you can actually provide, because your calculations in your brain, when it comes to duration of things, it's really bad. So not you specifically, like humans as a whole. You can read a book called Think Twice. It's a really good book. It's a book on cognitive biases. It's been a while since I've read it, but it was really interesting. So terms of service, I understand the terms of service, and I understand privacy policy. Click that, and then you can click submit for review. I'm just going to click save project because I don't want Upwork to review this sample project that's actually full of garbage and gibberish that I've written and fake. It's just a fake project to show you how it works. But essentially, you build these pages, you try to make them as appealing as possible so that when clients click on them, they're going to want to hire you. And you try to find a good hourly rate that fits with the lifestyle you want to have and also fits with what the market is offering to give yourself a good chance of getting hired. And, in the future, I'm going to make a detailed guide on how to make good projects for Project Catalog with more details on every step of the process and how to do it well. But hopefully you found this video valuable, this video that's more like a overview of the basics to be just enough for you to get started. Don't be afraid to experiment with it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Even if you make mistakes, they can be changed in the future, and you're just going to learn from the process. So yeah, go try it out. And with that, thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next videos.